right. Once again, we're back. Thursday night, WNBA boxing and MMA. Can't even say special no more because it's a bi-weekly occurrence now because the folks wanted it. So we're going to continue to bring it to you live from the lab, coming to you with some Redskins preseason football on. If you tuned in, it's almost halftime of the game. I encourage you to check us out because we got some good stuff to talk about. Because they're going to be talking about a bunch of nonsense that ain't going to mean nothing during halftime. Currently, the Redskins are up 17-0. We know it's preseason over the Patriots, but they're looking, they're looking like a good preseason team. The starters didn't play, backups are in, but, you can see definitely a change with the preseason training regimen that we spoke about on Monday night show. But I love the mix of plays. The running backs look like they're definitely on the bubble because we have a lot of talent back there now. They're going to be working out, and some folks is not going to make this team or possibly trade bait. There's been a couple of rumors that they came out already, but we're not going to get into that because we don't cover the rumors. We only cover stuff we can actually report on and back up. But that's neither here nor there. We'll talk football on Monday when we got JasmineB on. Tonight, live in the lab, we have our WNBA analyst. She's a little under the weather, but she's still taking the time out to call in to give us the insight on all things WNBA, and we greatly appreciate that. I see we already got Paul, the boxing guy, on the line. He's already chomping at the bit to talk some boxing because he wasn't available for the show before, so I know he has a lot of pent-up boxing information he's ready to get out there. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring on Miss Jasmine Brown so we can get this WNBA coverage started. How are you doing tonight, Miss Lady? I know you're a little under the weather, but I see you made it through for us tonight.
Yeah, I did a good. Gonna try to speak as best as I can.
Well, we greatly appreciate it. When we last left off, you were packing your bags, get ready to go to the All Star weekend. We want to give a quick recap of that, of everything that you experienced and saw that weekend, and then we'll quickly get into the week that was for the Mystics that actually played a game today that you attended. So let's go ahead and start with the All Star weekend and all the festivities and the outcome of the game.
Yeah, it was a really good time. I got to talk more in depth, with the players, especially that all of them were in one setting. So that was pretty cool. Team Parker won over Deladon. Yeah, it was a really really good time. The fans really enjoyed it. Minnesota was a really great host. And they also announced next year that the All Star game will be in Vegas. So the Las Vegas Aces will be hosting next year's All Star game. So that should be really fun. But yeah, the Lisa Borders, the president, she was there. She spoke on different topics, concerns that were going on around the league. And, yeah, I mean it was a really good time. A lot of information handed out, and yeah, I can't wait to go next year.
Well, I hope to be making that trip to Vegas next year along with the All Star. If we can keep things going with Sports on the Hill podcast and see if we can get a flight out there for that also.
Yeah, hopefully.
Yeah, that'll be a nice trip. I've never been to Vegas. But let's get into the, speaking of Vegas, that's a good segue for, we had a situation with the Mystics in Vegas coming to town right after the All-Star break that the game was originally postponed, and then there was a ruling that came down a couple of days after that. Could you let us know what happened and fill us in on what went on with the final decision?
Yeah, so what happened was Aces were in the airport for 26 hours. They left at 1 in the morning Central Time. I'm sorry, Pacific Time, which was 4 a.m. Eastern Time. And about 7 hours before tip-off, but because of the fact that they were in the at the airport for that long, they decided that they did not want to play. And because of that, the league came out with a decision on Tuesday that it was considered a forfeit. And that gave the Mystics a win, actually. But I feel like it was a good thing for the Mystics, a bad thing for the Aces, because they're fighting for a playoff spot right now. But I like that it happened because it will definitely prompt more debate on whether or not the WNBA can do something about chartering flights for players. Because if people don't know, the WNBA players, they actually fly commercial. Like, they don't have private planes like the NBA does. So that's a concern. Of course, money is different, but it's all season for the NBA, so I feel that they could, have the closest team to them have their plays. So that's just me. But yeah, it was considered a forfeit, which gave a win to the Mystics on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's a valid point. I didn't know that they didn't have their own charter flights, so they flew commercial. That's kind of wild. So yeah, they definitely need to address that issue. Hopefully, it doesn't cause any issues going further, but definitely something that needs to be addressed. So after that game against Vegas, that was canceled / postponed / given a victory, they went to Dallas and had a hell of a game. I actually showed some highlights in our commercial for our Monday night show of Christy Tolliver hitting a Jordan Ness turnaround jumper from the baseline with 1.4 seconds left in the game to win the game for the Mystics, 76 to 74. This was a tight defensive battle. I was looking at some of the numbers. The Mystics got out rebounded by like 15 and by like I believe 8 on the offensive boards. This was a tight game. What was the defining force that was able to the Mystics to overcome such of a huge disadvantage on the boards?
I think the team has learned to trust each other, and they've clicked at the right time, which is very important for the fourth quarter. And that's exactly what they did. Chris Tolliver, of course, she's a veteran. She's a champion. So she put that team on her back. She scored the last 8 points for the Mystics. They were down before she took over. She scored two straight threes, and then went down the court and did her magic as usual. So Elena Deladon actually she didn't really have a good game. She had a down game, but the team stepped up and they got a really solid road win. The Wings are a scrappy team, but after that they lost 6 in a row. 5th and 5 in a row at that time. So they fought back, but the Mystics, they did not fall into the trap. It very well could have went to overtime. Or it was funny also because Taylor Hill, formerly a Mystic, she actually had a good look for a 3, but it didn't go in. So that actually would have been funny if it did go in. But they do come back on Sunday, so we'll see how that goes. And including the fourth, the Mystics have a 5-game winning streak today.
Okay, cool. That'll run us into today's game. Excuse me, I didn't get a chance to get to this game. I know it was an 11:30 start, but I didn't even find out the results. So I'll go ahead and break down today's game and let us know who won today's game.
Yeah, so the Mystics, they actually won 100-77. They blew out the top 10 in the league. Did not expect that. They played well from start to finish. They had a little bit of a bumpy ride in the beginning of the third quarter, but they cleaned it up and continued to play Mystics basketball. EDD, she had her 30 points. Latoya Sanders, though, she is that team's dark horse. And she has been balling. Like she's been giving people problems. And the thing about her is that her shots, they're not the strongest shots. Like, she's not really giving you a hard time. She just kind of backs up, and her shots are very soft. They're very soft shots, but they go in. And that is what kills people, because people think that, oh, I just play really hard and attack the rim or do stuff like that. She doesn't do that. Her shots are just very delicate, very soft, but it goes in, and she's gotten buckets as the season went on. Natasha Cloud being back in the lineup, definitely a big factor. When she was out with the concussion, you could see how they struggled without her. Also, at the beginning of the season, when she got hurt, she had an illness, they struggled without her. So when you see how teams operate with someone when they're out, you can tell the people that they can't operate without. And Natasha Cloud is definitely one of them. Davis is one of them. She had a face cut a couple games ago. She couldn't play. They didn't play well without her. So you can tell the players that they can't play without it. Those two are definitely two of the few players that they can play without.
Solid info. So you mentioned that they have a game on Sunday versus the Dallas Wings again. What do we have look forward in this other scrappy game that came down to a last-second shot by Tolliver? What do we have to look forward with them with revenge on their mind in this game?
I would definitely we'll probably have a game plan to guard Chris. We already have a game plan to guard Elena, so that actually works. Liz Pepe, definitely. I don't know what her status is as far as injury, because she didn't go to the locker room at the end of the game. She was in Dallas, so we'll see where her status is. If she's out, that's a big blow for the Wings. But yeah, they have Wings on Sunday, and then they'll have the Fever, their very last meeting with the Eastern Conference team, and then Friday they'll play Sparks, and then they'll close out the season with the Leafs. So Mystic will be closing out their season with the two teams that have met in the finals the past 2 years. So that's fun.
It's definitely going to be interesting into the season. I know the Mystics are still in second place, trying to get back to that top spot. Hopefully they can get there. They got, I believe you said, 4 games left in the season. We'll definitely be trying to get down there for the hopeful playoff games or whatever that goes on. But we'll definitely be tuned in. Definitely appreciate you taking the time. Want to give a shout out to where the folks can find you at before you get out of here?
Yes, my Twitter is JDanielleBrown. I'm sorry, JasmineB_Brown. I'm sorry. Instagram is JDanielleBrown. And my YouTube is Do the Pin Sports. THROCGH The Pin PEN Sports. And I'll also say that the playoffs will actually be canceled at George Washington University basketball arena, not Verizon Center, because of the renovation. Just to let you know.
Good information. Glad to hear that. So I can plan for that. I didn't know that. As always, you have some insight that I had no idea about. So appreciate your time. Appreciate your insight. And we definitely will catch you for next episode of WNBA Boxing and MMA. Appreciate it, Ms. Brown. You have a good night, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Have a good one.
All right. And we'll go ahead and get into our boxing talk. We have Paul patiently waiting on the line. I know he has a lot to talk about from the last month of boxing, since he wasn't able to make last episode. Paul, how you doing tonight, good sir?
Carol, my brother, I'm doing pretty good, man. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good, man. They here watching some Redskins preseason football. They looking, pretty good, but it's preseason, but it's always good to see some Redskins football on. And just enjoying another good show, man. Just had some great WNBA insight now. About to pick your brain on some of these last boxing matches that's been going on, because I know it's been some interesting stuff going on since the last time we spoke.
Yeah, I was a little disappointed. I had to miss the last episode. It was a big weekend coming up in boxing. It's a lot of important fights. Maybe some names that people may not have really been too accustomed to. I'm gonna tell you one thing, Carol. If anybody's been listening to boxing and MMA special, they would know that I've been talking about Dillian White for a long time. He was in action that previous Saturday. Mikey Garcia was in action that same day. He dismantled Robert Easter, man. Mikey Garcia is a smaller guy. He's a lightweight. He's only about 5'6". Robert Easter is lightweight, but he's a 6'1", I believe. So he has a ridiculous height and reach advantage over Mikey Garcia. Funny thing is, I thought Mikey Garcia, I thought he was going to win, but I thought he may have to overcome some of that length. That was not an issue for Mikey Garcia. Mikey Garcia showed why when he tells people he wants to move up 2 weight classes to welterweight to fight Errol Spence, they think he's crazy. He showed people that he's not crazy, and he can get in there and pretty much beat anybody that he's in the ring with. He whooped up on Robert Easter. He knocked him down with a devastating left hook. He pretty much just made easy work of Robert Easter. He bullied him, kept the pressure on. He kept on throwing those hooks behind his guard, sort of like he did against Adrian Broner a couple years back. Actually last July. So Mikey Garcia, man, he unified the light heavyweight division, WBC, and won the IBF title. Now he has a decision to make on if he is going to fight the mandatory, or if he is going to go on and move up to 147 welterweight and fight. Hopefully, he try and get his hands on Errol Spence. And I think that he's going to vacate those lightweight titles to make that jump in weight and try to look at welterweight. So that's definitely going to be interesting to see how he manages with the naturally bigger, stronger fighters. Because if anybody can do it, man, Mikey Garcia is definitely one that can do it.
Yeah, I was watching that fight, and I know we talked about it before. The commentators were, saying how Easter was controlling it and all this and that, but I was seeing Garcia was getting in there and doing what he had to do, and he was handling the jab, and he was hitting good power punches and working the body. So, as you mentioned, him going up in weight class, you said he's already went up to get to unify these belts. If he goes up again, like you say, to the naturally bigger fighters, how is that going to translate to him with his? I'm not sure how much power he has. I have seen him knock some folks out, but how is that going to translate to him stepping up to another weight class with guys that have more natural power to him off the break?
Yeah, that's always a big concern about power if you move up to the bigger weight classes. But the thing about that is if you're good enough, technically you're good enough, you got the heart, you got the drive, you got the technique and ability, you can overcome being smaller size. Because like Errol Spence is 5'9", Terrence Crawford actually moved up a couple weight classes himself. So he got the increase in weight didn't really bother him very much so far either in his career at welterweight. So I think Mikey can do it. I think he has the power where he can put on that weight and he can, a lot of his power can translate up. Because I think Terrence Crawford moved up from where Mikey Garcia is right now, and he's not much bigger than Mikey Garcia, and he's knocking folks out, whooping people when he was in super lightweight. And, he whooped up on Jeff Horn and his first fight at welterweight, won the title with his first fight. So I think Mikey can make the jump. I don't know if Spence is the right guy to go right after, because I've talked highly of Spence. I think Spence is the best pound-for-pound fighter out right now, and it's arguable. I'm not, if anyone wants to say Crawford is and whatever, I'm not going to debate that, because with the talent in many weight classes right now, it's really hard to say. You got Lomachenko, you got Canelo still there. People hate on him. You got Crawford there, you got Spence there. You got a lot of guys, that can, Mikey, that can claim that top spot. But I think he can make the jump. I think he might want to try to take a lesser fighter at 147. Maybe I don't want to see Pacquiao fight again because I think he's too old and I don't want him to get hurt. But at the same time, Pacquiao just won another title. So, why not try to go after a guy like him? Pacquiao was going out parties with Pacquiao. You know, he's still competent enough where he can hold his own. And it'll also be a lot, you know, to prove with Mikey. So I don't know if he should jump right into Errol Spence, but Mikey's a warrior, come from a family of warriors, so I wholly expect him to go right for Errol Spence.
That Garcia-Pacquiao fight would be very interesting. That would be an interesting matchup, and it does make a lot of sense. And you have predicted some fights before, Paul, so I'm going to be on the lookout for that one, because if that happens, I'm damn sure going to get some lottery numbers from you, bro.
Yeah, I hope it doesn't. Here's the thing, like, I hope it doesn't for the sake of sometimes in boxing, even if you look good one fight when you're that old, you can age from one fight to the next and just get dismantled. So that's the fear. As a person that, you know, a lot of boxing fans would just like to see the fight. Now, I haven't heard people talking about that, but I think that may be a safe fight for them to go after, especially with Pacquiao even top rank. You know, but I just don't know if that's a good thing for Pacquiao, because Mikey's a real deal, man. I mean, you know, I wouldn't put Pacquiao in there against a guy like Errol Spence or Terrence Crawford or Lomachenko if Pacquiao would have tried to drop that much weight like he said he would. I hope Mikey Garcia in that same, you know, opinion. I don't really think it's a good idea to put him in there. But ultimately, I mean, if he wants to go and there's a fight to be made, and Mikey wants to say, let me get a warm up at this higher weight class against a guy who's naturally smaller like he is, I mean, hey, why not?
It does make good sense. Does make good sense. So, what other fights do we have going on? I know it was another good fight you were speaking of that week before we got into the past weekend fights.
Oh yes, sir. We had you know, my guy Dillian White. You know, I'm a Dillian White fan. He's a fighter from England. I think he's from Jamaica originally, Canada. I can't recall. One of the Commonwealth states. He fights in England. Fights out of England. Guy who beat Joshua in the amateurs. Guy who almost knocked Joshua out as a pro. The guy who's been calling out Deontay Wilder for 2 years now. Who's been the #1 contender in the WBC belt on and off of the Deontay Wilder belt for a long time. The guy with Deontay Wilder called us pauper and said he don't fight paupers, even though I don't understand why he said that, because Dillian White only has one loss. That's Anthony Joshua. So he once again showed the world that he's the real deal when he took down Joseph Parker. Joseph Parker's the guy who Joshua just beat and took his title. Parker had never been down before in his career, ever. And Dillian White floored him 3 times. Now, the first knockdown was actually the result of an accidental headbutt. The ref didn't see it, but it was scored as a knockdown. Joseph Parker's camp was trying to protest the decision originally, but ultimately you got knocked down 2 other times. You know, you really can't. I'll take 1 other time. You really can't say, oh, you lost because of that accidental headbutt. He ended up knocking down Dillian White himself in the last round. He came up strong, but it wasn't enough. That early knockdown and that headbutt just sealed the deal. And Dillian White was catching up to quarter with knocked him down with that short left hook that I always talk about. That Dillian White, you know, was definitely employed to, I think, great effect against a guy like Wilder. Joseph Parker's no slouch. He gets a bad rap, I guess, because people don't know him. But I mean, he's not a bum. That dude can fight. He's good on his feet. He moves. He has a great jab. He has good power. He has a damn good chin. But Dillian White is just another level. People think White is sloppy for some reason. Yeah, a lot of people say that don't really understand what they're watching. Dillian White crowds you. He harasses you. He bullies you around. That's what he did against Parker. Parker even stated, you know, I'm not going to say he fought dirty. He roughed me up and he bullied me in there. And it's true. And that's not a fight against Parker. That's what Dillian White does, man. And, you know, that's why guys like him and Tyson Fury is so dangerous against guys like Wilder. And speaking of Fury, he's kind of gaming Wilder right now. Wilder's falling for it. And, you know, we'll get into that in a little bit. But Dillian White, man, he once again showed why he deserves to get that shot at either a rematch against Joshua next year, or if Wilder doesn't want that spot in April, that's going to be Dillian White's spot. He earned it, and he definitely should get another opportunity. And England would love another fight between those. So we'll see. The ball's in Wilder's court now, depending on what happens to him later this year, and if he does fight Fury in December, it's going to have a huge bearing on what we see next April with Joshua.
All right, I can dig it. I hate to have to cut you off, but we got EJ calling in with the MMA talk. He has a slight small window this week, so he's supposed to come on a little bit later on, but we got him on a little early. So We can hold up on the boxing. We can get some MMA talking real quick. EJ, how you doing tonight, good sir?
I'm hear about what EJ got to say. EJ,
I'm doing well. I'm so glad to be on and talk some quick MMA. But all I have to say is I mentioned this on the show about 3 episodes ago. There's only one Tyson Fury. He's coming for you, Wilder. He's coming. Got a big fight coming up in a couple weeks, and he's coming for that heavyweight belt, and he's going to take on Wilder, and he's going to take out Joshua. And he's going to go back to living that gypsy lifestyle afterwards. So
I think Fury's the one that can do it, EJ. I will not disagree with anything you say right there.
And I do have to say this, Paul, you have earned me on the show a couple of times making predictions, but I do have to say I got the Robert Easter fight correct. I said Garcia was going to take that and win by decision. So I predicted that, and I predicted Dillian White beating Mr. Parker. So I was happy with my prediction. So, man, I'm so glad to be back. I'm so glad to be back on the show. And if you guys haven't heard, MMA and the UFC is just exploding with the big news of last week's press conference with Mr. Conor McGregor making his return back to the octagon on October the 7th to face Mr. Khabib Nurmagomedov for the UFC lightweight championship. Paul, what do you think about this?
Man, when I saw the announcement, I thought about you immediately. I think I texted Carol right away and said, Carol, EJ was saying it was going to happen, and here we go. And I was anxious to hear what you had to say about how you think this is going to go. I'm a big fan of Conor because he's a striker, but Khabib is an animal. So I don't know, man. It's one of those things where I think it can go either way based on whose technical ability usually wins the day. Right. Conor striking, and then Khabib get a hold of him, or say Khabib goes in for a hold and Conor strikes him. So I think this is going to be a great fight, man.
It's going to be electrifying. The one thing I will say about Khabib, Khabib is a guy that sometimes likes to beat someone in their game. So I think going into this fight, if Khabib can stay disciplined and utilize his grappling skills, I mean, the kid grew up wrestling Bears in Dagestan. So if he does that, he's going to be fine fighting Conor. But if he tries to stand with Conor and exchange a little bit, he's going to be he might be getting picked up off that canvas. So it's going to be interesting. I got Khabib winning. We'll break that down when they get closer to fighting. But man, that news. And then another big news is another Englishman who I think is probably the biggest up-and-coming English fighter in the history of mixed martial arts. This kid by the name of Darren Till has a great backstory. Lived in England, got stabbed in a brawl in Liverpool, so his family moved him out to Brazil so he could kind of get away from some of the gangs in Liverpool and kind of start anew. So he was a great kickboxer, grew up being a great kickboxing champion, moved to Brazil, became a black belt in jiu-jitsu, fought in Brazil, so he speaks Portuguese. Lived there for a while, then knocked up a Portuguese Brazilian woman, had a child there. They broke up, so he moved back to England, but he's been on an absolute tear. And Paul, you would love watching this kid fight, man. He's got that old school England boxing style with the long hooks, and I mean, this kid is just an absolute machine in the ring, and he fights at 170 and weighs walks around at like 215. So it's a lot of weight cut. He's going to fight Tyrone Woodley, so that's going to be pretty. So I look forward to that. So those are the two big fights that are coming up this week. So you got my guy, Nate Diaz, is supposedly got contracted to fight at UFC 230, but he was really mad because at the press conference he was told that was the big news. He was going to be the breaking news of that press conference. He was the main attraction. And then the UFC was able to sign the Conor fight. So Nate Diaz, as soon as that happened, said, F the UFC, I'm not fighting anymore. So we'll see if Nate's just talking, but Nate is very brash, and he likes to be treated right. I mean, he's fought for them for many years, and he kind of feels like he's always been the stepchild. So Nate Diaz right now is kind of in limbo, but he's supposed to fight Dustin Poirier, but that's going to be interesting to see what happens, because the winner of that Dustin Poirier Nate Diaz fight will probably fight the winner of Conor Khabib. But now George St. Pierre is saying, I want in on this action too. So it's just
see the highlights? No, I was fortunate enough to see the highlights. And I was impressed, man. With those counter punches, when every time I can't pronounce the other guy's name, Corey was coming in, man, he was getting rocked. So I was impressed. I did get a chance to see the highlights of that, and I heard that after the highlights, it really wasn't a lot much else because the fight was so quick. And I was impressed, man. I was definitely impressed with Dillashaw. So TJ Dillashaw, to let you know about his versatility, TJ Dillashaw was a college wrestler, Division I. Then he became a really good kickboxer, and he is so good with his striking and his footwork. He actually spars with Lomachenko. So he works with Lomachenko. Lomachenko's been working his boxing. So that came in his fight with Cody. Him and Cody had a huge rivalry. Cody used to own him in training all the time. And TJ will say this. Cody had the best of him in sparring and training when they worked together. But TJ really evolved the game a lot, especially under Dwayne Bang Ludwig, with a lot of footwork, and just changed up his style, and worked with Lomachenko. And Cody Garbrandt is a great boxer, grew up boxing his whole life. But when he fights TJ Dillashaw, he loses his main focus, and he really is a guy who loves to stick to jab, and he likes to just fight in combination. But when he fights TJ Dillashaw, he's trying to take his head off with every shot. So TJ just really did a great job working angles, moving. Cody was loading every single shot off, and TJ was just taking him apart. And that was an awesome match. And then Demetrius Johnson losing his belt to Henry Cejudo. Demetrius Johnson was the #1 pound-for-pound fighter, and so that was great to see that happen. So it was a very big weekend in the UFC. And as we head forward, I've got some sources that have let me know that John Jones might be making his return in November. So, so be on the lookout for that. If he comes back, I'm hoping he can stay back. Yeah, so the rumor is he's coming back at heavyweight to fight Daniel Cormier if Cormier doesn't get the Brock Lesnar fight. So that would be amazing. So that's what's going on. And I got a couple more minutes to talk. So if you guys want to talk MMA, that's fine. I can talk boxing. But I do got a question for you, eBay. You brought up Dillashaw, right? I want to know, have you been seeing the back and forth between Tank Davis and TJ Dillashaw on Twitter? I've heard about it. I think this is a slippery slope right now for TJ Dillashaw because he's a great MMA fighter, but he cannot get in the ring with Tank Davis. He cannot. That's a game that he shouldn't play. He needs to stick to winning MMA fights. He's a good MMA boxer. He's worked with Lomachenko, but that's with 16-ounce gloves and a lot of headgear. If he steps in the boxing ring, Davis is just too much of a machine, man. But if Davis wants to ante up and get into the octagon, he's got no chance in hell in the beginning. I'll tell you this right now, Davis, I respect your game, but if you get Dillashaw beats you at a bar, he will take your life from you. I guarantee it. His grappling is too good. He takes him down to the ground and choke his life away. So, but that's a fight that would be interesting. I love these MMA guys and these boxing guys in their exchanges with each other on Instagram and Twitter. It's just funny, just because you guys want to make these fights happen. But I want to throw to these guys again. I forgot to mention this. Greg Hardy looked phenomenal in his last MMA fight. Phenomenal. Did you guys see his highlights? On Tuesday night. I heard about it. I heard about his performance. I didn't get a chance to see it though. I didn't get a chance to see it. I definitely got to check that out. How'd it go, EJ? Great. So right now what's happening, and this is what happened, and you see this in heavyweight boxing, but you see this more in heavyweight mixed martial arts. He's going in the ring with guys that aren't very athletic. So he's going to get in the ring with guys that he's just 5 times the athletes that they are. But the one thing about him, which I'm seeing, is he's with a really good training camp in American Top Team. And the punches that he's throwing, he's throwing very good, accurate punches. So, I mean, he's not throwing them from the kitchen sink. He's throwing tight punches. He's got a lot of power. His movement's been good. And I heard he's really taking to the grappling side of things in training. He's a guy that I'm very excited to see what the future of him for him holds. And apparently he changed his life. He's not doing drugs anymore. He stopped drinking as much as he was. He's kind of made a lot of good life decisions. Kind of surrounding himself with really good people. He's not hanging out with the crowd he was hanging out with that was getting in trouble before. So Greg Hardy's an NFL caliber athlete, and he is just. I'm real fired up to see how UFC's going to utilize him in their repertoire, because I really don't see. I mean, he's just so athletic. If they can move up the ranks in a way in which he's going against guys that he can just go through and kind of get his confidence and learn more of the ground game. He's a superior athlete to anyone he'll fight in the heavyweight division. But we'll see. I was really impressed with him in his last fight.
You brought up former NFL players. I saw a news about Sean Merriman, lights out. I saw that he's trying to dabble now into it. Have you heard anything about what his prospects may be like? Does he have experience in MMA at all, or what's the scope?
Guess what Sean Merriman's doing now? It's something that we spotlighted a couple weeks ago. Sean Merriman is going to be going into some bare knuckle boxing right now. So he's going to be in the next bare knuckle boxing card that is coming out. And I don't think August is coming out in October. So Sean Merriman is going to be coming into bare knuckle boxing. And Sean, that's going to be. I would not want to get hit by that guy with 16 ounce gloves. And he's a guy that has always kind of had a head screwed. He's one of these guys that was kind of always been a fighter. So I think we'll see what he does in bare knuckle boxing. But I think to come into the UFC as a heavyweight, these football players have a really nice advantage, especially if their match makes early, just because the superior athleticism they have. If you get a 185 guy who's a college football player or NFL guy, they're going to be superior athletic to some of these other guys, but it's not the gap's not going to be as big as it is. For example, if you see Greg Hardy in there, he's cutting weight to 265, but he's chiseled, he's got abs, and the last guy he fought, that guy was a 247, 248, but he threw a jab and his whole body was shaking. So, it's exciting to see what's going on with all these people coming over to MMA. But I will say that the sport gets better, and Bellator just announced they're doing that welterweight. So last time I was on this show, I mentioned Paul Daly and Carol's boy Vince Page. Those guys will be fighting, and those guys will be fighting in November. So that's going to be a great fight. But you guys have anything else for me tonight? I'm kind of talking fast because I'm excited to talk to you guys for hours. One thing on the show.
You got any quick boxing breakdown?
I was eager to talk to you, Jay. I was definitely anxious because I heard MMA was blowing up, and I said, I can't wait. I hope we can get EJ tonight, because I definitely want to know the scoop of what was brewing now.
Just want to give a quick breakdown of your boxing for the last 2 weeks before you get out of here. Paul's going to break down this past weekend. We spoke about the Garcia fight last time. Just give your quick initial thoughts of this past weekend's fights before you get out of here.
Oh, yeah, sure. Go for it, EJ. I want to see if you saw that Kovalev fight.
One fight I saw that I watched the Berto Devin Alexander fight, just because I've always been a Berto fan. Did you watch that, Paul?
That's the one fight I didn't get to see. I did not get to see that fight.
Oh man, that was a great fight. Split decision win for Berto. And Berto just has impressed me. He's a guy that I've always respected. He's just always bringing action. And he showed he's kind of at the ending of his career, but to watch him come back after being knocked down early in that fight, and he just got inside of Alexander towards the end of the fight. He showed a great gas tank and was just able to outwork Alexander, and he dropped him with a nice hook in the 12th round to kind of take that decision. But I was real impressed with Berto, just
because of his just overall tenacity and toughness to kind of eke out that decision against Evan Alexander in a very close fight. But yeah, I mean, the one fight that I was just real impressed with was the Dillian White win over Joseph Parker. I mean, that was just huge for English boxing. And did you guys talk about how after they fought, how that both those guys just have so much respect for each other in the ring? So I think they're going to be angling for maybe those guys to go back after Dillian White gets another fight. I mean, that Robert Easter Mikey Garcia fight too was great. Easter showed a lot of good grit and toughness. What do you guys see next for Mikey Garcia fight wise? I don't know if you guys been talking about that earlier on the show, but who do you guys think he matches up with? I know him and Earl Spence is kind of the fight that Mikey Garcia is calling for. Where do you see him doing?
I brought up to Carol as a, I know fans. I'm saying this as a fan, not because I want it, but I don't really know if Mikey should be going straight for Errol Spence. But I say if there's one guy that can pull it off, jumping up 2 weight classes and doing it, is Mikey. However, I said, why not try to get a tune-up fight against a guy like Manny Pacquiao? I don't want Pacquiao to fight again. I don't. I really don't. I think he should retire. But I think if he was to step up, Pacquiao left top rank. If he was to step up and use Pacquiao as, say, a warm-up at welterweight, I think that'd be great. Pacquiao started off light. He started off super featherweight, lightweight. He's a smaller guy like Mikey. Mikey's 5'6". He's an older guy with a name, and he's coming off his last fight. He's a champion. I don't want Pacquiao to fight, but however, I kind of think that Mikey Garcia, I wouldn't be surprised if they try to get that guy up there for Mikey's first fight at welterweight, because I really don't think he should go straight for Errol Spence at welterweight.
I mean, I think that's. I wish you were a matchmaker, because that would be, I think, another way. Mikey Garcia is popular. Don't get me wrong. He's got a big name. He's 39-0 now, and he's a big name in boxing. But he's still. I mean, if Mikey Garcia walks out tonight to go to the local Buffalo Wild Wings in Richmond, Virginia, or he goes to the local Buffalo Wild Wings in Germantown, Maryland, I don't think people are going to really be able to pick Mikey Garcia out of a hat. I know they're going to be able to pick Manny Pacquiao out.
Oh yeah.
So I think what they need to do for someone like Mikey Garcia, the UFC does this all the time. They need to put Mikey Garcia against someone like Pacquiao before the Earl Spence fight, just so they can get that name recognition, name to face. So people can, that's the guy. Still, you got people still think Manny Pacquiao's one of the best in the world, especially after the say. And these are people that aren't boxing people. These are just sport fans that think Manny Pacquiao is great, just from what he's done in the past. If Mikey Garcia can add that head to his mantle of taking out someone like Manny Pacquiao, that sells the fight with Errol Spence too. And right now in boxing, we've got some great fights we need to make, but it's not just the fighting. Secondly, they need to start promoting his personality. Boxing has got to get back to the days of Mike Tyson, all the trash talking and all that stuff, because the sport itself is dying just because they're not promoting themselves right. You know what I mean? Like that means MMA is just completely taken to the entertainment side of things, but it's working. That's kind of played in the McGregor fight so well. It's promoted that. Boxing has got to promote these fights more. And if they do that, they've got some great personalities and great storylines and great people like Earl Spence and great people like Mikey Garcia that are phenomenal athletes. If they can put these guys out there in the right light, man, they've really got an awesome package to show the world.
That's a great point. I think that's one thing that England has over America. You see guys, current champs in England right now that are on their morning show. We got to mainstream the champs again. Like you said, against Mike Tyson, everyone knew who the champ was. Everyone knew who Sugar Ray was. Everyone knew Mike Tyson. Everyone knew Evander Holyfield. And now, like you said, you'd be hard pressed to pick out some of these guys if they just showed up in a bar. So for example, I'm gonna give you one more example. I know Joshua's friends have done this. I think Eddie Hearn had done this once. Asked people if they knew who Joshua was in America, and they said yes. And they showed them a picture of Wilder, and they said, "Who is he?" And that's not necessarily Wilder's fault. I think that goes with the promotions and the way they don't really support boxing in America like they used to anymore. You raised a great point there. It's simple. That's why it's so great about this show here, man. You guys promote. You guys are good at promoting yourself. You know, that's what the world of boxing. The only way people are going to find out about you is you got to put your name out there. And boxing, that's why I watch boxing. My wife, she combat sports. She won't watch UFC. She'll watch boxing. She's like, man, these guys are so graceful. And like, she's like, this is chess, man. Watching these people go at it. And she loves watching boxing. Like, she'll watch it with me sometimes just because she loves the sport, how they move in the ring, and just like the angles they hit and stuff, and just like the overall just presentation of boxing. They've got great announcers. I mean, it's just a really, really good sport. And they just need to find out a way to kind of promote it back to the good old days, the glory days. So I'm real fired up though to see what Mikey Garcia does next. And I think Earl Spence, when it's all said and done, I've said this once or twice before. I don't know if I said it live on air. I think when it comes down to it, I think Earl Spence is going to be the greatest boxer of all time. I really do. I think the kid is just absolutely a stud. He's going to continue to get better. And I don't think there's anyone that can beat him in the ring.
I agree. I don't see it. I know people love Terrence Crawford. I like Terrence Crawford. I love Crawford. I said this earlier with Carol. I have Earl Spence rated as my number one pound fighter. Now, I'm not going to say someone who has, say, Terrence Crawford, number one. I'm not going to say they're wrong. I'm not going to, because Terrence Crawford is going to be a legend. However, I really don't think that if Terrence Crawford fought Errol Spence, that Terrence Crawford could beat Spence. Spence is probably one of the most versatile. I mean, he learned under Floyd Mayweather. He's one of the most versatile, most total package, most skillful boxers. I mean, what he did to Lamont Stevenson should have been illegal. I mean, right. He showed that he has the package. He can flip, he can get in, get out, he can hit you at angles, he can get in there in the phone booth, in the pocket, and knock you down, take your shots, and give it back. He's legendary, and I really do think that he is going to be what a lot of uneducated boxing people hated about Floyd Mayweather, where they said, he runs too much because he did a lot of pot shots and won that way. I think Errol Spence is going to make a lot of people satisfy a lot of people where he can do that, but he also can knock you out just as well.
That to me, that is the best breakdown I've ever heard of Earl Spence, because Earl Spence is a guy that can literally beat you any way he wants to in the ring. Any type of fight you bring to him, he'll adapt his game plan. And listen, he can beat you in a 12-round chess match, or he can take you out in a 1-round brawl. I mean, he can do it all. He's got a lot of pop to his punches. He's got quick hands, like you said, great footwork. Always throws a combination. And with him, it's not the first shot you got to worry about, even though the first shot will put you out, because he'll knock you out on your feet with one shot, and then he'll throw about another 10 punches right after it before he hits the ground. So I can't wait to see what Earl Spence does with what's going on, and I want to see him in that ring with Mikey Garcia. So thank you guys so much. I can't wait to come back on the show and do it. I'm going to have an hour window to talk boxing, MMA, fair enough for boxing, chess boxing, which has been showed on Ocho this week. So I'll talk to everybody else. All right?
All right, EJ. Appreciate it as usual, man. Take it easy, and we catch you next time.
Yeah, man. Thank you guys.
Great stuff, brother.
Yes, sir. All right, as always, we appreciate EJ's insight. He had to jump in and jump out real quick. We got him for a good 20 minutes, so that was some good MMA talk and some good boxing insight. It's about 9:50. We got about 10 minutes before the hour. I think we can. You think we can wrap up the rest of it in 10 minutes, Paul? Or you think you want to go a little bit over and preview some other fights that's coming up?
Oh, yeah, we can definitely wrap it up. There's only one more fight that we can touch on. That won't take very long. So, yeah, man, we definitely can wrap that thing up and then go from there, man. I wanted to kind of talk about Kovalev's loss the other day. I think Kovalev might hang it up now. He has an opportunity to have a rematch with Alvarez, the guy who ended up beating him by TKO in round 7, knocked him down 3 times. Because, this fight was supposed to be a warm-up for Sergey Kovalev to fight against Dmitry Bivol, one of his fellow Russian countrymen, for his title in December. But that doesn't look like it's happening now. And Alvarez upset that. Alvarez, took his title, WBO title. Sergey Kovalev hasn't committed yet to actually taking advantage of that
rematch clause, and also Alvarez has the right of first refusal anyway to fight in B-ball in December. So Kovalev looks like he might be on the way out, man. I mean, he landed some good shots, man. I mean, he's a bully. He can bully you. He makes his name off of power and physical domination. But Alvarez was a bigger man in that ring, and that's not usually something that Kovalev typically sees, especially coming off his loss to Devondre Ward. And, he hasn't been the same. Alvarez just put it on him. He had no answer for that overhand right that Alvarez kept sending at him. And so Alvarez is a new light heavyweight champion. We'll see what happens in December. Hopefully we get that fight against Bivol, and from there on, the picture is a little more unclear with older guys like Radu Jack and Adonis Stevenson probably on their way out. So we'll see what happens next, man. But Kovalev looks like he may be on his way out.
Yeah, I was actually watching that fight, and before I could look up, he was on the canvas 3 different times. So that was my first time really watching him fight, and it might be time for him to hang it up because dude definitely just picked him apart in that 7th round. But what fights do we have upcoming? I know this is a prime time for some good fights. What else we got coming up around the corner, Paul?
Oh yes, August 18th. Me and EJ talked about a minute ago. Tyson Fury's making his second fight, his comeback. I forget the name of the guy he's fighting, but him and Wilder have been in negotiations to meet in December. And I said this earlier, I think Fury's playing Wilder because Wilder's buying the hype that, Joshua's a bad negotiator. Fury, he decided to say, I'll come to America and fight you. And Fury's a great businessman and singing Fury's praises. But what he doesn't know about Fury is this. Fury's not the champ because he failed drug tests. Joshua has the belt now. Fury's never lost. Fury dominates with your mind, with his mind. He will mentally screw with you for months, and then he will take everything you have in the ring away from you. Americans don't like him because he's not entertaining, but you got Fury fighting in August, hopefully setting up about with Deontay Wilder in December. And the big fight we got September 15th. Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. The rematch finally is going to happen, and we're definitely going to be breaking that one down in subsequent episodes. Also Joshua's fight in September, but we got weeks before we have to get into that. So those are the big fights coming up, man. Look out for Tyson Fury on August 18th. He's on the road to coming back, and I think that he's the one that can end up being the top dog if he keeps himself together, and because he has all the skills, man. Total package. I think he has the best feet, quickest feet, and the best hand speed out of all the heavyweights right now. And he's 6'8", bigger than all of them. They don't see that very often.
That's crazy. I've heard his name. I've never seen him fight, but 6'8", that's crazy. I'm gonna have to go look at some footage of this dude. That's wild. But 6'8".
He is massive. And that dude is so quick. I mean, he's not fun to watch all the time, but he is a psychological genius. He's a master, and I think that Deontay Wilder, if he fights for Fury, I have to give Wilder all the props in the world. I've been critical of his resume, even though that's not always his fault. Promoters make the fight. The fighters don't make the fight. I'm not gonna bash him for that. But Fury, man, I don't know, man. Wilder may take an unnecessary chance against a guy like Fury, who technically really hasn't fought enough fights on his comeback to even be in the ring against Wilder yet. So I think Wilder might just have to go for somebody else like maybe Dillian White or Dominic Brazil before he fights Fury. Because Fury is not to be taken lightly one bit.
It sounds like it. Well, let the folks know where they can find you before we get up out of here, Paul.
Yes, indeed. True Talk, True Radio Network, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. I finally was back on the air this past Tuesday, and it's been rough sometimes my schedule, but that's where I'm always at on the radio. True Talk, True Radio Network, 9 p.m. on Tuesdays. I haven't been on my Instagram account as much. It's just so difficult with the 700 kids that I seem to feel like I have at times, but just True Talk, Tuesday nights, 8 p.m. Eastern Time on True Radio Network.
Hey, man, you got the Army for a reason, man. But we appreciate you taking the time to drop some of your boxing insight knowledge. We'll be looking for you in a couple of weeks to break down some more of these good fights that's coming up. I'm about to go ahead and end this Facebook Live feed. Appreciate everybody tuning in, chiming in. As always, we'll be back in 2 weeks on following Thursday to break down some more WNBA boxing and MMA. Make sure y'all check out the page and check out the website, SportsOTHP.com. And I'm going to go ahead and end the Facebook.